As the weeks unfold, we've learned more secrets of the Witness and his goal for the final shape. The new raid introduced us to Rhulk, a disciple of the Witness whom is loyal to him and follows him as a god. Today in this video though, we're going to explain what disciples are, how they command pyramid ships, and who may become disciples of the Witness in the future, characters we already know. Rhulk also has some mysterious symbols in his eyes that tie to the Bray family and possibly Eramis. Rhulk, one of the first disciples of the Witness. The definition of a disciple is a follower or student of a teacher, leader, or philosopher. Rhulk is in fact a follower of this teacher, the Witness, and it seems the Witness may have more followers. I've made various videos discussing Rhulk's backstory, which is pretty epic, but here's the basics. Rhulk's homeworld was destroyed and he was the last one that remained. The Witness found him before he died and recruited him for his cause toward finding that final shape of nothing. Rhulk has been sent on missions to other worlds to recruit worthy adversaries and convert their species to darkness. Or attempt to anyway. The Oslid, one of the creatures, he ended up killing all of them, but then you have successful ones like the Worm Gods and the Hive. This is what it appears those disciples of the Witness do, recruit species to join the dark side and follow the ideals of the Witness. As far as we can tell, each disciple may have their own pyramid ship. Rhulk stored the Worm God Zeta and the superweapon called the Upended. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that every pyramid ship we see has a disciple in it though. The ones we saw on Europa or the Moon were completely empty, but that doesn't mean they aren't a part of the same force, this army of the Witness. Perhaps these pyramids did have disciples and either they died or have yet to be found. So to me it seems that not every pyramid ship has a disciple yet. Maybe that's why they were sent to where they are though. Empty vessels tempting races to take the powers of the darkness and maybe command those ships one day. On the Moon in the Dark Future lore book, this pyramid actually corrupted Eramis. You next have the one on Europa, which gave us the power of stasis and also corrupted Eramis. So again, it seems they have no disciples in them unless they were trying to recruit someone else to join their side.
That's another one. They all scan the same. Empty. Why did the darkness invite us here?
The ship in Mara's throne world that belongs to Rhulk is a little different, as Mara says this.
Guardians, I am not your vanguard and I give no orders, only a warning. The pyramid ahead is not like those you've previously encountered. This one was not left for you to find. You were not guided to it, not beckoned. This domain belongs to a dark entity, unknown in power. It seeks domination of the throne world.
So this pyramid ship wasn't beckoning us to use the dark powers and come closer to the darkness like on Europa. This one actually had a leader inside of it. So if there are other disciples out there, will we also face them someday? The Witness probably has many disciples already controlling pyramid ships of their own, but it seems that he's still recruiting. So let's discuss who could become a candidate for these positions with the Witness out of the characters we know. First though, what do you need to become a disciple? What's the checklist, so to speak? Well, from what we have so far, we can gather a couple of things. Rhulk wiped out his entire species on his homeworld. He was the last survivor. And the Witness found him, took him in, and now Rhulk believes in the final shape and the Witness's plan. So until we get further lore, it seems the Witness likes to pick disciples from different species, possibly those species who were destroyed. Rhulk's job as a disciple is to spread the influence of the Witness to others, spread the darkness and advance the universe toward the final shape. So who in Destiny would fit this mold, wanting to be the last survivor, worshipping the dark and becoming a god? Let's start with the most obvious candidate in Emperor Calus. Calus was an exiled Cabal emperor drifting in space in the Leviathan ship until one day it stopped at the edge of the void. Here, Calus had a revelation and interacted with the deep. This would change him forever. At the edge of the universe, we had found something. No, we had found a nothing. From the seat of my observation chamber, I stared into the perfect void. Only I, a god, could understand what I witnessed. It was a thing greater than myself, and if such a thing exists, then I, too, can become more. At the edge of the universe, I stared into the infinite deep. It stared back, and I was pleased. I would become the herald of its victory, and bear witness for all creation. So Calus encountered something. Was it the witness, the force of darkness itself in the deep, or the final shape? Whatever it was, Calus was now obsessed with it, with wanting to become a god and the last of his kind.
I was lost once, exiled from my people, floating aimlessly amongst the stars. But then I found it. Something breathtakingly glorious. The truth of the universe.
Thanks to the many Leviathan raids, we know Calus has his shadows, groups of assassins that are sent out to take out targets for that goal so that only Calus remains. When you think about it, this is basically like the sword logic with the Hive. Calus wants to kill everything else so he becomes more powerful and is the last one standing. It's also interesting that Calus's shadows are often a part of different species. There was Cabal, there was Elixni, and even a Guardian in Catabasis, a part of his shadows group. On the Glycon, we learned even more about Calus, that he was converting the Scorn to try and speak with the voice in the darkness, the witness, and it may have worked.
The Emperor shows us we chase a mirage. The darkness is nothing but a great basin of formless thoughts. A vast tangle of composting chaos. Calus seeks the entity who speaks through the darkness. It seems Calus has fled. Amsat states, Emperor Calus has left us. His shadow broods. The legionaries spread rumors saying, he merged with darkness. He is dead. He fights to save us. This is an address from Calus to his crew. I chose Galrun, and his frailty betrayed us. He was too pure, too alone. Our new guests are neither. A glorious chain of dark minds, an open mouth for the one in the darkness, that it may sing in exaltation of my majesty. Greatness recognizes greatness. To invoke the attention of the end, our offer must be great.
We know Calus is gone. He spoke with the deep at the edge of the void, and now perhaps with the witness itself. So could he become a disciple next? Unless he himself thinks he's greater than that voice, wanting to become a witness himself, much like he already was with his shadows. So the next characters we're going to talk about more are failed attempts to become disciples. First up, we have Eramis. The whole Beyond Light campaign involved the Elixni and Eramis on Europa getting stasis and powers of the dark. In the end, Eramis is halted, but is still very much alive, frozen in stasis, for a reason. Did the darkness see the potential inside Eramis? In the Glassway Strike, when you first played through, we learned that Eramis would unleash the Vex, which got the Radiolaria, but also killed many of her own people. So was she on that path like Rhulk, killing his own people to become a disciple? Or was she unable to control that power, and that is the reason she was frozen, that she wasn't worthy of the darkness? Next up, Mara Sov. In the Parasite mission, Mara tells us that the witness literally spoke to her and tried to get her to join his side.
But not ours alone. That day was as much a failure for the wit.
Are you okay?
I'm fine. Before coming to you, I sought information about the voice in the dark. The witness. What I found? Well, you could say I was granted a personal viewing of our impending doom at the hands of the witness. Its poisons, piercing my mind and thoughts. I didn't know what to do. I had no plan. I was afraid. I remain haunted. unsure of the next move. But it must be made, regardless.
In my previously mentioned vision was the Witness's one truth, an eternity of darkness in which I serve as a disciple. It brought me an overwhelming feeling I previously relayed to you as fear, but in actuality, it was fear born of what I felt most within this vision: gratitude. Gratitude, as if my place alongside the Witness was meant to be a reward for all I have ever done and ever will do. And if the Witness is to be believed, all I ever will do is unbecoming, to say the least. It is in moments like these wherein I wonder if I myself should be put to rest to avoid perpetuating these dark truths. But I have never wavered from righteousness, and I don't intend to begin now. So Mara says that it won't happen, that's why she's alerting us of this, but it is kinda crazy that the Witness is recruiting this close to home with characters we've known for a while. Eris Morn. In the Dark Future lore book, Eris gets corrupted by the Moon Pyramid and becomes one of the main villains, leading an army of Dark Guardians to wipe everything out completely. So there you have that checkmark, wiping everything else out so you're the last one standing to become that disciple. This lore is from the dark timeline that Elsie Bray the Stranger experiences over and over. Up until now, our Guardian has assisted her in making sure these events don't happen though. Like in our universe, Eris wasn't corrupted on the moon as far as we know, but it's cool to think about the possibility of that happening if we somehow mess up. Anna Bray was also evil in that lore book and killed Marasov, again in a different timeline, but cool story. Clovis Bray. This one just seems likely if you know the background of Clovis himself. In lore, Clovis describes he wanted to be the LUCA, or Last Universal Common Ancestor. He wanted to be the last of his kind. Clovis also had many interactions with the darkness in multiple places, the K1 artifact on the moon, and then leading him to Europa to create the Exos and find Clarity Control.
We can all use it for good, to save humanity.
No. What? It's not what it's for at all. It's for research, for legacy, for the Bray name.
You know, Clovis was always problematic, but he used to have some humanity before he let the darkness take it from him.
Clovis Bray may have very well been on this path to become a disciple, and it could have worked if the collapse wasn't averted by Sabathun. An image taken by Reddit user Lawsome94 reveals something puzzling. Rhulk's eyes have symbols in them. His right eyes have 3 suns, and in his left it has 1 sun, the astrological symbol for Eris sideways, and a symbol tied to the Bray family. I'm currently making another video on this whole topic specifically, but who do you think these 2 symbols represent? Is the Eris planetary symbol Eris Morn? If not the one we know, maybe the one from the Dark Future lore book. And is this other one Clovis Bray, Elsie, or Anna? Let me know your thoughts down below. Anyway, Guardians, that's all we got for today's video. What we know about the Disciples of the Witness, and what characters could possibly convert or connect to them in future releases. If you'd like to see some more Destiny lore and mysteries just like this video, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Anyway, my name's Evade, and I'll catch you Guardians in the next one.